and welcome to The Standpoint. COVID-19, yes, we're in October, but then it's still here with us. Don't get it twisted. COVID-19 is still here with us, and we have to be careful because we've had spikes in other countries. And so the fact that our numbers are going down and the recovery rate is high, we thank God for that, but then we still have to be very careful. Today we are going to talk about COVID-19 and motherhood. Listen, it's brought out the madness in a lot of mothers. In fact, the real madness in mothers. First of all, the children are home. You know, this is the first time that most mothers have had children home for months without going to school, no breathing, the pressure and the stress can drive you crazy. And if you're not careful, you will actually cause your children more harm than good, because they also need it. But anyway, I'm not the right person to talk about it. Today, I have the right people here as clinical psychologists and then somebody who works with mothers to talk about this, to share experiences on how COVID-19 has affected or has taken a toll on mothers from the beginning of the year till now. Let me say thank you to GTP for my cloth. This is what they call lockdown. Yes, this is lockdown, yeah. Thank you to Ophelia Crossland Design for sewing the dress for me. My Wake Up by Inshilo, the one and only Inshilo. Thank you so much. To the makeup products by Cone Professional Makeup. I hope you've bought yours. If you haven't, make sure you rush and buy yours, because you can see the difference in my look, because it's been beautifully applied by Makeup and More. We take a break. When we come back, COVID-19 and motherhood, another level altogether. We'll be back. Welcome back to The Standpoint. Well, if you just joined us today, we are going to talk about motherhood and COVID-19. The challenges, yes. COVID is not over. We have to be careful. Yes, as I said in my intro, the numbers are going down, recovery is high, but then, touch wood, we've seen spikes in other countries, so we need to be careful. COVID-19 brought out the crazy side of everybody. It brought out the good, the bad, and the ugly in all of us. So today we are going to talk about some of the challenges that mothers face in these times. Again, let me say thank you to our sponsor. The Standpoint is sponsored by Live Strong with Iron. And if you have to be strong in these times, if you're going to survive, touch wood, if you get infected, it's all about your immune system, how strong your immune system is. And iron plays a critical role in boosting your immune system. And when I talk about iron, I'm urging you to eat foods, vegetables, protein that contain iron, like the contomere. I can never stop talking about contomere. Contomere is an all-rounder. You can eat it with anything and everything. Anything and everything. And it's very rich in iron. The abedru, some call it kwawunsusai. The adame, the fish, beans, agushi, meat. All these things have iron in it. So you make sure, and these are foods that are not very expensive. They are healthy. And the funny thing is, some of these iron-rich vegetables and, foods that we eat, they don't let us put on weight. So if you're afraid of they don't let us put on weight. So please be careful and make sure if you're going to buy spices, fortified with iron, look on it, iron fortified spice. If it's flour, if it's oil, if it's powdered milk, look out for it. And if you're a pregnant woman, please make sure you eat well. And when you are given your medications, iron tablets, the folic acid, the vitamin C, please take it. It is for your own good and that of your unborn child. Well, let me come straight to my panel. They are all mothers, and I'm sure they've seen their crazy sides already, irrespective of who they are and what they are. If you thought you were a crazy mother, COVID has told you that you are crazier than you thought. Well, on my extreme left, I have Dr. Joanna Larry Afutu. She's a clinical psychologist and the secretary to the Ghana Psychological Association, right? Thank you for making it to the program. Good to see you. Now, next to her is Selina Bentum, founder, executive director, African Foundation for Premature Babies and Neonatal Care, AFPNC. Good to have you on the standpoint finally.
Thank you for having us.
How are you?
Great. Yeah. Great.
Are you sure? Are you sure she's doing well?
I've had my fears, but by God's grace, we've sailed through with support, of course. So it's not been easy. I remember when I was at the initial stage,
Right.
I was asked to lead a team to support those in quarantine. It was not easy. Any time I wake up in the morning, hey, am I going to this place again?
Right.
And what made it quite scary is the fact that family members were also afraid. And so,
For you, yeah.
Yes. But fortunately, my father was very supportive. Go and support Ghana. And I think that really helped.
Okay.
And with support from our then President, Dr. Erica Dixon, and then Vice President, now President, Dr. Bedu Ajeman. It was quite good. I was able to sail through, put my fears down, and then help manage others. Coming to the parenting side, I had the support of my family to take
Before
care
you get
of
to
them.
the parenting side, how did you feel having to break the news to other people that they are positive?
Very uncomfortable, because COVID came with the fears for all of us. There were a lot of uncertainties, because we were seeing people dying elsewhere on the media and all that. And unfortunately for me, those I had to break news to were people who were coming from places that they had first-hand experience
Right.
from. And so you were, let's say, in Britain, somewhere, you saw people going through all these things, and then you have to come back home.
Yeah.
So the reality is so great on that person. And having to tell the person that you are positive, it wasn't easy. And we had to deal with that uneasiness again before going out to tell someone that you are positive. But
Positive.
yes,
Right.
but through the support we gave people, initially there were some sort of disbelief, but gradually you go through therapy with them, and then they come to terms with the fact that there is support available for them to go through the period. And by God's grace, I have not lost any of those I broke the news to.
Okay, awesome.
And yes.
Okay, so you kind of kept in touch with them, or
Yes,
you have
please.
a tracing of them.
I
Okay.
kept in
Selena, what about you? How has it been for you
Well,
as a mother?
it took a while. It took a while to accept the reality that it had come to disrupt a plan. You know, we set out in 2020 with an agenda. For myself as a mom, and also for the fact that I serve in this capacity in an organization, and also the fact that you are a shoulder. I am a shoulder for other women, other mothers as well. And of course in the family, being the first of four. So it took a while to accept the reality. It felt as if this was happening to everybody else around the world, but not Ghana. You know, so and this is, I remember before the first case, I was transiting in Amsterdam, and we were just touching each other. You know, you're just walking through to go through checkpoints and all of that. I mean, everything was normal, hugging people, smiling and all of that. So when we got here, and then in Ghana, they were doing the temperature check. I was like, what is happening? He said COVID. And I said, but COVID, say in Drew Haye. I mean, what is happening? You know, but then eventually when the first case came, I was like, wow. And the second case came, then lockdown came. I was like, this is getting serious.
Right.
And it was one of the most difficult moments of my life as a mom, as a woman. Emotionally, I was breaking down. Because I couldn't explain to my son who loves going to school. He was like, Mommy, today won't I go to school? And I'm like, no, and had to explain. But beside that, the fact that plans were halted. And it means the effect of plans being halted meant a whole lot of things. So I was now thinking, hey, so all that I was seeing, the empty streets in London, in another part of the country was going to happen to us, and all of that. And you didn't know how to navigate your way. So it was difficult, extremely difficult in the beginning. But along the line, we found a way to reach out. And in that, strength started coming. Somehow, I started thinking, no, this is not just about me. When you have opportunity, God has given you opportunity to be able to have an extra strength somehow, then you have to step up to the plate. It was time to now accept the reality. And now move. What should we do? What can we do? Who needs our help? What do we do? Now begin to think about the opportunities that this may have brought us. So I think that I cannot say that I've done excellent, as a mother, but I think I have tried, even though juggling with work, having to cope and having to make sure that the child also has in a healthy environment because they're not watching too much of television, not too much screen time, but still able to play outside, even though there's a restriction, and you want your space, and he is in your space. He is in your space every time, and you still have to think.
Even when you are doing Facebook Live.
Every time, I have to get to that. I wish you know, but the organization started Motherhood Under COVID-19, that we had the privilege of hosting Ohinere on one of the episodes. But prior to that, every session, no matter the talks I do with him, no matter the preparation, no matter what I give him, he will come. Either ask questions. If I locked the door, he was standing in the window. Mommy, can I get the slice of bread toasted? I'm like... And sometimes the door is, he would just come and stand there and everybody can see it all the time. But
These are crazy times indeed. Let me take a break. When we come back, we'll look at how it's affecting mothers, how everything has been disrupted. Not that we don't love our children, but then the stress levels, how to manage it and how to make sure that it doesn't drive you to depression. Well, let me say thank you to our supporters and all those who have been there for us. We're grateful. We take a break. When we come back, we'll continue. Welcome back to The Standpoint. Let me say thank you to our supporters. Go God to your God, Juice Time, Awake Purified Mineral Water, and Royal Drinks by Casa Preco Company Limited, House of Food. Auntie Vera, thank you so much as always. Oh, I remember what you did for my little girl and my family when I was in quarantine. I'm so, so grateful to you. Thank you to Cake Technique for all the goodies, for all the cookies. We are so grateful. Cupcake and everything cake. You go to Cake Technique. Thank you to Yep Cleaning Services who keep our environment clean. To Dream Oval, they power our website, www.thestandpoint.com.gh, powered by Dream Oval, of course. And Kodam's Gift and Stationery, everything gift, everything stationery. Every time you go there, I keep telling you, you see something new. Thank you to GTP for my clothes. My dress was made for me by Ophelia Crossland Designs. Makeup products, Cone Professional Makeup. They are here to stay, and they are the makeup that you should get and try. Excellent, excellent makeup. And then we also say thank you to Makeup and More, who, did our makeup for us, applied nicely. When my wake up by Inshallah. Now, let me come to Dr. Joan. As a mother, a human being, a mother, not a clinical psychologist, how did COVID-19, or how has it affected, because still here, how has it affected you?
Okay, so in several ways. Initially, they were intercrated with my parents, my siblings, my parents and some of my siblings. And so I didn't feel it that much. But when
Did they go because of COVID?
No, they were there.
Okay.
They had to come because I had changed jobs.
Okay.
So when they came, I was still lecturing. I had to lecture, I had to do Zoom trainings for some people we are collaborating with, that GPA is collaborating with and all that. Sometimes I'm so tired. I just want to be at home and be with them as well after my Zoom sessions. So we'll negotiate. I have the 11 years, 9 years, 5 to 6. So we'll negotiate nicely. So this is time for you to read. I'll be away for 2 hours or 1.5 hours. When I come back, this is what we are going to do. We agree perfectly. Then when they realize I'm not talking, the younger one doesn't understand why I'm in a meeting and I'm silent. So she will come, hello, can I say something? I said, please go away. Then she will leave. Then she'll come again. Hi again. And sometimes it's so stressful. Sometimes I just want to get up and do something.
But scream
yes,
to go away.
but you can't do that because at the end of the day, you still have to come back and do damage control. So I better don't say anything. When we finish, then I have to put controls. You did this, so you are not part of this activity. And then there will be tears. Aside that, I realized that I'm not resting very well because they also have their fears. Mothers alone are stressed out, but the children are also stressed out. And we need to manage our own better to be able to take care of them. And I've been experimenting, and by God's grace, I've not relied on the previous experiences. I look forward, I pray to God, get new ideas, and deal with them every day. And so I realized that progressively, my stress levels are well managed now. Of course, with support from family and friends. Sometimes my mother would call, bring them. I have another mother in Tema Community 22. He said, Joanna, bring the children and go and do your work. And that, I think, has been very good for me. It relieves you of some of the stress. Sometimes I wonder, how are people coping? Even with the support, it's not easy. So how are people coping? And I have been mindful of the effect of stress. And so I consciously try and manage it. Before I became a psychologist, and even when I started practicing, I was mindful of the stresses, but I was a mother, a new mother, and all that. And it wasn't easy. Juggling, marriage, everything, it wasn't easy. But progressively, I realized that I'm able to cope better. Currently, the cases I get, I realize that most of my clients are stressed out. Most of the problems that I have currently, you realize that the underlying factor are stresses. Stresses of COVID and non-COVID issues. And for the women, it's at a different level altogether. Because women who are married have their challenges. Marriage, children, they have to go to work or be at home working. Some are not even working. Some have lost their jobs. And I ask myself, how are all these people coping? And so as much as possible, I try to involve myself in the partnership GPAs having with people to support people just to cope. Most of them, there is no incentive monetarily, but you realize that God has been gracious to you, and so you just want to reach out. Because even with all the support you have, you realize that sometimes you struggle. Sometimes you cry in the night, you wake up, and then you have to reach out to other people. And so people should seek help now. Don't think that I can do it because I've been doing it. Now the levels are different. The stress levels are different. So reach out for help.
The stress levels are different, so reach out. Can you relate? I mean, you also work with a lot of women, you know, and I think you've had a few programs like what we had, you know, the Facebook Live program we had, the mothers sharing their difficulties.
I think that we are still yet to come to terms with the reality of the impact of COVID on the woman, the mother, and the girl. During this time, the AFPNC launched the Motherhood Under COVID-19. And we did it in partnership with the GPA and then the Society of Gynecologists and Obstetricians and then the African Women Leadership Organization. And during this interaction, we did not just focus on only interacting with mothers on social media as well, but we also try to encourage support groups in the communities. So as at yesterday, we've been able to reach out to over 10,000 mothers and women within the support groups that we tried, and how we are sharing information as well. And also on the media, social media front. So during this time, what we notice is that not just in Ghana, but this is global. With our African setting, it's more stressful because the woman or the mother, who is also a wife, is like the spirit of the home.
Right.
And when that spirit is not there, something is gone. And so there's extra pressure. And the girl is mentored or groomed to become a mother.
Okay. Right.
The girl is expected to take up motherly roles, even as a little girl, taking care of older siblings and taking care of the home, regardless of the challenges. As against, other families elsewhere that, it's like the boy has the same role as a girl and there isn't much difference. So we notice also that the impact on maternal health, women's health in general, the discussion wasn't there. Because the focus immediately is on the sick, the person who is either getting infected, doing the contact tracing and all of that. But we are yet to see a single initiative that is focused on analyzing the impact of COVID on maternal health. How are pregnant women coping? How has the fear, the uncertainty, the myth associated with COVID impacting them? And what does this mean on newborn health? Because you can't talk about newborn without talking about the woman.
Of course.
And so we are yet to understand how this is happening. So far, what we have seen is that, and what science has shown, the little evidence has shown, is that the impact of COVID, the numbers and all of that, as compared to those in other part of the world, was quite interesting. What was estimated is not what happened
in Africa.
In Africa. However, we know that in other part of the world, some families got some incentives.
Yeah,
the support system will work in some extents. But here in our part of the world, especially in Ghana, there's nothing. I mean, we have families who are stressed, like Doc said, because not just the woman losing her job, but the husband may have lost the job. Or I know some families that the husband's salary has been slashed into two. And she is a stay-at-home mom. She has to take care of her kids. And having to even figure out the fact that her whole plan this year is interrupted. So through this initiative or the work, what we realize is that we are yet to analyze and accept the impact of COVID on the woman, on the mother and the girl. Number two, we have not seen any single project that is focused on supporting women, supporting mothers.
But isn't it the same as, everyday attitude towards womanhood? Because you're a woman, you're strong, you're, as you say, the spirit of the home, so you're supposed to keep it together, all together.
Unfortunately.
So you're supposed to be a superwoman. You're supposed to be human, from the way we perceive women in our society. So it's business as usual. So they don't see it as something extraordinary.
It seems so, and it is more surprising because as we speak, our kids are supposed to be at home until January.
Yes.
COVID has presented us with a new set of challenge, juggling between our work and taking care of ourselves as women. Something that sometimes, even when you complain, who are you talking to? Because your husband is looking up to you. He's expecting that you make sure the food is on the table, you take care of yourself. If you have to go to work, you go to work. He's still expecting that to happen.
Let me take a break. When we come, let's look at what mothers can do.
Great.
Because we are human beings. Because if you're not careful, you will break down.
Sure.
You will break down. You need to take the chill pill and relax and have fun and chill out and go rock and go dancing.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm getting crazy. COVID is affecting me.
We need a chill pill. Mothers,
We really
the
do.
girls,
We
the women,
really
we
do.
need a chill pill. Yeah. Before we lose our
I
minds.
tell you, you're watching The Standpoint. Let me say thank you to our sponsors, Live Strong with iron deficiency is a big problem. And mothers, in these times of stress, you need to boost your immune system. Your immune system. Eat well. Please try and eat well and get the children to also eat well. Just make sure your family also eats well. And the fruits, don't forget it. The fruits. Let's look out for adolescents and children in reproductive ages. You know, let's look out for them and make sure that they do the right thing. We'll be back.
When nothing goes the way you plan it, it can be frustrating. I mean, could it get any worse? It can, and it did. And I give up.
Feel the magic in the air.
Oh, they brought my favorites, my darlings. Mwah. I love market days with my daughter, but she always has her own plan. Wait, where are we going? I haven't paid. Royal drinks. Cocktail for her, red grape for me. Cheers. So refreshing. So lift your bottles and let's have a blast. With family and friends around, life is always a blast. Now introducing Royal Red Grape, Cocktail and Royal Honeybee. Royal Drinks, another quality product from Casa Preco. You go like 'em.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Welcome back to The Standpoint. And again, I say thank you to our supporters. House of Food, Cake Technique, Go-Got Yogurt, Juice Time, a wet purified mineral water and Royal Drink by Casa Preco Company Limited, Kodam's Gifts and Stationery, and Yep Cleaning Services. Hey, you better, in fact, follow me on Instagram, okay? My Instagram handle is Ohinere_Gifty_Auntie. My Facebook page is Ohinere Nana Danswa. That's my personal page where I do all the crazy things. And then my motivational page is Ohinere Gifty Auntie Oga. That's where you get all the inspirational me and motivational me there. So please follow me on social media. I have a Twitter handle, but I'm not very active there. So these are the two. And then follow The Standpoint as well. And guess what? Yes, just in case you haven't heard, The Standpoint is on 6 platforms now. Hooray! After 12 years. We are on 6 platforms. So we are on Joy Prime on Sundays at 6:30 p.m., repeated on Thursdays at 11 p.m. We are on EBN TV on Saturdays at 7 p.m., repeated on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. We are on Truth TV, which is on the multimedia channel, multi-TV channel. It airs on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9 p.m. Of course, we stream on Facebook and then YouTube on Sundays at 8 p.m. And you can also watch The Standpoint on our website, www.thestandpoint.com.gh. So now what are you waiting for? You better come and support us so you can get your business growing and people getting to know you, because you can't do business in the dark. If you want to be out there to trend, for people to know that you're doing something, The Standpoint is the program to support, to sponsor, and to advertise on. Thank you so much. We're so excited about it. Now, Doc, Dr. Joan, one of the things that is still bugging me that, my daughter's my everything, my greatest, the reason I still live, I go and come now. But in these times, I realize sometimes I get so stressed. I shout at her, and then immediately I get that. I feel sad. Or sometimes I do something, and then she's crying, and I find myself that I'm also crying because I realize I've gone overboard. Under normal circumstances, I won't do. But as, Selena said, always in your space. No breathing space. Sure. You are in the washroom, and she comes, Mommy, what are you doing? And then she'll come and sit on you. She literally breathes the same air I breathe. And sometimes it really gets to you.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, so psychologically, one thing that I would say before then is that before COVID-19, we were having our challenges.
Yeah.
COVID-19, if anything, has presented with new and additional stresses. And after COVID-19, we may or we will contend with new stresses. What this means is that the stresses will continue. And managing it is very, very important. What happens when we are overwhelmed is that the brain releases stress hormones into our system. And once these hormones continue to rage in our system, what happens is that the system doesn't work as expected. And so with time, you begin to have headaches, you don't feel like eating, you become irritable.
Yeah.
So you scream when you don't have to scream, and when all is said and done, you are so sad. You go back, reflect, and you realize that, oh, I shouldn't have done this. Sometimes you go back, make up. Sometimes it's difficult to make up.
Make up.
You move on and all that. So with time, you realize that the whole system is being affected.
Listen, since between April, when I went home from quarantine to now, I've said sorry to my 3-year-old daughter, I mean, like 1,000,000 times.
It's normal. It's normal because of the pressure. At least, if for nothing at all, when I came in, I've realized that you're under pressure. And I'm sure that this is work pressure. When you go home, there's another group of pressures there as well.
Because you can imagine, we were in the hospital on Thursday. She was on admission. I stayed with her at the hospital. We were discharged Friday at 6 p.m. We got home quite late because we had to go through the processes and everything. And then she slept very late because I had to give her medication. I had to wake up at 5 a.m. today to actually get ready to come to work and redo 4 recordings. You can. I'm like a zombie. It's amazing. I mean, once the cameras roll off, it's as if it's gone. But once the cameras come on,
that is your life. The cameras are your life. So I think that is what gives you the zeal. And for me, I'm happy you are passionate about this. And that probably may be one of your escape zones. Once you are here, at least you are refreshed, you are happy, and then...
Oh, but she's in my office waiting. Once I leave,
at least we are here. We are here.
I know, right?
And so before you realize everything is going haywire in your system, one thing that I want us to note is how we evaluate our situations. I mentioned that the stresses are not going to leave. The time that the stresses will leave would probably be a time that you are down there. And so we need to be conscious of how we are relating to our environment and the stresses. The way we evaluate our stresses is very important. So for instance, all these things, you are going through the motions like a zombie, and you say, this thing will kill me. I'm tired. If you do that, evaluate that as something that you can't do, something that is not doable, you sure will break down because the toll will be so much on you. But you can look at the other side. At least when you come here, you are refreshed because you are meeting people, you are interacting with people and all that. You are doing something that you are passionate about. And so as much as possible, you'd want to look at the positive sides of the stresses that you are going through. And I'm sure that is what is happening in Ghana now. We are happy so many people didn't die out of COVID. We are happy the numbers are not being announced. And so we are coping better than initially. But it also has its downsides as well. And so the way we evaluate our situation is very, very important. And for me, I always want you to look at the other side. So COVID has done a lot of damage to us, literally, but there are positives. We have learned new ways of dealing with our situations.
Exactly.
We have traveled. We've built resilience throughout this period. And I believe that, for me, that is the positive side. And we need to look at that. We are bonding with our family.
Yeah.
We are bonding.
Yeah. How do we manage it? I mean, she's a clinical psychologist.
Yeah, so she's coming from the doctor.
Let's look at
how practical.
How do you manage it?
This is what I would say, that first of all, as a nation, we need to begin to prioritize when it comes to, this issue of COVID and the impact. As much as investment is going into taking care of preparing for the worst when it comes to numbers spiking, and that could happen to a woman, it can happen to a man. But we need to prioritize, and if there are no initiatives or funds allocated to initiatives and projects that can directly target the woman, the mother, and the girl, we are likely going to see the effect later on. Now the numbers seems to be going down, so everybody is breathing, but there's a reality on the ground that from now that children are home, somebody should be taking care of the child at home. But we need to continue empowering the mothers, giving resources while they are at home, so that they can cope better, they can respond better. The children at home will be given, better care during this time until school reopens and there's a bit more of a change in the schedule. Secondly, for us as women on a daily basis, Doc says something very important, that how you are looking at the problem is either going to make it worse in your eyes or it's going to make it less. So you need to ask for help when you need.
Right.
Open up, have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah, don't keep it all inside.
Don't keep it all inside because you break down. I remember walking into Ohineri's office one day. Actually, we didn't plan that meeting. No. Actually, we just had a call, and then we confirmed the next day was available for her. And when I was talking, I didn't even know why I actually came. But when I was talking, I realized that I was tensed. I was bottling up a lot because I'm doing so much. I am, in my capacity as the executive director, I have a responsibility to deliver. I have a responsibility to review some strategies and come up with some solutions, of course, with the team. But I am the head. I'm serving as the head in the organization. I have a son who looks up to me all the time. We have a beautiful bonding that, he always would have to look up to me for strength. Now, I didn't realize that as much as I'm reaching out to people, giving people sharing my strength with other people, I was hurting on the inside. And I just came in. I told her that I want to cry. I really wanted to cry. And that moment, so ask for help. My point is, ask for help. Doc says something. Talk to somebody. Reach out to somebody. Share some thoughts and also give help. Whilst you're craving for help, give help. How am I saying this? During this time, we had this outreach, and I realized that the more I listened to other women's problems and their challenges, somehow, and I was given my strength and sharing knowledge that I had received and finding solution for them with other people who had a solution to some of the challenges, I was healing. I was feeling energized. More ideas were coming. And now, by God's grace, I have figured out the way out for the organization and also for my son, and also because I have help. I ask for help. My immediate family, friends, I'm blessed to have friends like Dr. Joanne's clinical psychologist that I could just have a talk with, friends who would really kindly reach out and say, you are doing this for everybody. What's up with you? Can we do this for you? Can we do that for you? So I realized that when I was giving, I was getting same in return. So ask for help. I'm advocating that we need to do a review on the impact of COVID on maternal and newborn health. We need to start the conversation as a country. We cannot keep quiet. We need to analyze and say that what is this taught us? And what are the strategies we're going to put in place for the next pandemic, if it happens, because it's a reality.
Because
and then it is a reality.
It is a reality. Yes, briefly. Then
so self-care is very important. Like you said, you are giving out so much. Those times, I used to think that I have to do everything that needs to be done at all costs, by all means.
Same here.
But I realized that as you are giving out to family, to friends, to husband, to everybody else, you realize that at a point you forget that you've not even eaten. Sometimes I get to work, I've prepared food, I've packed food for everybody, but I have nothing. So I go to sit at the office and realize that, hey, I've not eaten. But I realize that taking care of yourself is very important as well, because if you are psychologically and physically fit, then you can give out better. And so we need to do that self-care. And just to chip in again on our children and how we are going to manage with them before January, I believe that, like I mentioned, they're also bored. And so we should have a conversation with them if the age would permit. Let's negotiate with them. Let's find out what they would love to do. So it may be reading. If it's reading, we can get them books. If you don't have the books, you can fall on friends and loved ones to give you books for them to read. Sometimes you would want to read, share books amongst friends, then you come back, tell the stories, tell the lessons and all that.
So
It's
basically find creative ways of
let's
getting them
find-
engaged.
Yes, because
Right.
the easy way out for us now is the TV. But after COVID, we have to win them. And it's going to be a crazy thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming to share. I'm sure this is a conversation that we'll have to continue some other time. And yes, mothers need to realize that stress is real and it's understandable, what they're going through. And they are not alone. Lots more women are going through what they're going through. So as you both said, seek help. Ask for help. Speak up and reach out. As you reach out, some people will reach out to you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
We'll take a break. When I come back, I'll give you a bit of me. Dear woman, listen, my dear woman, I get it. I get it. These are very challenging times. Sometimes it feels like you're losing it. Sometimes you even feel like you've lost it. You have to figure it out and struggle on your own. I get it. I get it. But you know what? We have to beat this. No. COVID-19 is not going to push us to depression. No way. We are not going to let it. There are too many things fighting against us. We are not going to let COVID-19 do this to us. So let's rise up, women. Let's start asking ourselves. Let's start analyzing the situation. Let's start talking and speaking up. Because you know what? COVID-19 is stealing much more from us than we think. If we are not careful, by the time we enter 2021, we'll become some kind of human beings that we can't even recognize as who we are. It's affecting the way we relate with our children. It's affecting the way we relate with our family members. Our relationships are suffering. Our marriages are suffering. Because sometimes you wonder what is happening. But this is a season. This is a phase. This is a storm that will settle. But whilst we are in it, what are we going to do? How are we going to handle it? My suggestion, just take a step back. Find a way to exhale. Find a way to take care of you. I know sometimes you feel guilty. Yeah, I do that. I tell myself, 1 hour, I just want to just be in a room, and then I hear my little girl banging on it, crying, and I can't say I won't open it. But we need to find a way. If COVID-19 has taught us anything, it's brought out the creativity in us. It's taught us that nothing is impossible and everything is possible. Is it come together with friends, where we alternate today, this friend will take care of the children, and then you go out, and then there must be something, but you don't lose it. Please, don't let COVID-19 push you into depression. Don't let it turn you into something that you will hate in future. I'm believing in you. I'm trusting in you. I'm so proud of you for how far you've come, how you've managed it so far. But this one too will pass. And when it passes, we might come out stronger and better. I'm a woman with super crazy faith in God. But I know that I can't pray about it every time. I need to apply the wisdom that God has given us. Let's step up. Let's step up and do something creative. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week. Bye for now.